My dear listeners, I'm Auntie Grace. I found my husband's journal hidden under our bed. The first entry said, "I don't know how much longer I can keep this from her." If you love true stories, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. It helps keep these voices alive. I always find it fascinating to read which cities and countries you're listening from, so don't hesitate to write a comment. Happy listening. I stood there, frozen, with the worn leather notebook in my hands. It was International Men's Day, November 19th, and I'd been planning this surprise for weeks. Something special, something to finally show Marcus how much I saw him, how much I appreciated everything he did for our family. But now, holding this journal I'd accidentally knocked out from under the bed frame while reaching for the storage boxes, I felt my stomach drop. The handwriting was his. Unmistakable. That same slanted scrawl I'd seen on birthday cards and grocery lists for 15 years. But I'd never seen this notebook before. Never even knew he kept a journal. I should have put it back. I should have respected his privacy. But that first line, "I don't know how much longer I can keep this from her." It hooked into my chest like a fishhook and pulled. My hands were shaking as I sat down on the edge of our bed. The same bed where we'd laughed last night over a stupid sitcom. The same bed where he'd kissed my forehead this morning before heading to work, telling me he loved me in that quiet, steady way of his. What was he keeping from me? The morning light was streaming through our bedroom window, casting everything in that soft, golden glow that usually made me feel safe. But right now, nothing felt safe. I could hear the neighbors mowing their lawn outside. Somewhere down the street, kids were laughing. Normal Saturday sounds, but my world had just tilted sideways. I opened the journal to the first page. Entry 1, March 12th, 2023. Started the second job today, night security at the warehouse on Mitchell Street, 11 p.m. to 6 a.m., 4 nights a week. Sarah doesn't know. I told her I've been picking up overtime at the office. I hate lying to her, but what choice do I have? The medical bills from Emma's surgery last year are crushing us. The insurance covered most of it, but that most still left us with $47,000 in debt. I can't tell Sarah. She already blames herself for not catching Emma's condition sooner, even though the doctors said there was no way to know. If she finds out we're drowning financially because of it, it'll destroy her. So I'll work. I'll handle it. That's what husbands do, right? We handle it. I stopped breathing. Emma's surgery, our daughter's appendectomy last March. It had been terrifying. She'd collapsed at school, rushed to the ER, emergency surgery. But afterward, Marcus had told me everything was fine. He'd said the insurance covered it, that we only owed a small copay, that I shouldn't worry. He'd lied to me. Or, no, he protected me. But $47,000? My God. And a second job, night security? I thought back to last spring. He had been coming home later. He'd said it was overtime, project deadlines. I'd believed him because, why wouldn't I? Marcus didn't lie. Marcus was steady. Marcus was the rock our family was built on. But he'd been working 2 jobs, sleeping maybe 3 or 4 hours a day, and I hadn't noticed. The guilt hit me like a wave. How had I not seen it? How had I not asked more questions? I flipped to the next entry, my heart pounding. Entry 2, April 8th, 2023. I fell asleep at my desk today. My manager, Tom, woke me up. He asked if everything was okay at home. I told him I've just been having trouble sleeping. Another lie. The truth is, I'm exhausted down to my bones. Last night at the warehouse, I almost nodded off during rounds. I can't afford to lose either job. We need both incomes now. I did the math last night. If I keep this pace, we can have the medical debt paid off in 3 years. 3 years. I can do 3 years. I have to. 3 years of this. 3 years of running himself into the ground. And he was doing it alone. In secret. I kept reading. Entry 3, May 22nd, 2023. Sarah asked me today why I've been so distant. She said I seemed tired all the time and wondered if I was feeling okay. I told her I was fine, just stressed about work. She made my favorite dinner, pot roast with those little potatoes I love. She's so good to me. And here I am lying to her every single day. But what am I supposed to say? Hey, honey, I'm working myself to death to pay for our daughter's life-saving surgery, and by the way, I haven't had a full night's sleep in 2 months? That would just make her feel worse. So I ate the pot roast. I kissed her. I told her I loved her. And then I went to the warehouse and walked empty hallways for 6 hours. I remembered that dinner. I remembered thinking he looked pale. I remembered asking if he was okay. And I remembered believing him when he said yes. Why did I believe him so easily? Because he'd never given me a reason not to. Because in 15 years of marriage, Marcus had been nothing but honest and steady and strong. He was the one who held everything together when I fell apart. He was the one who stayed calm during Emma's surgery while I sobbed in the waiting room. He was the one who told me everything would be okay, and it had been okay, because he'd made it okay. By sacrificing himself. I wiped my eyes. I hadn't realized I was crying. The journal had more, so many more entries. I flipped forward, scanning dates. March, April, May, June, July. The entries went on for months. Over a year of entries. How had he hidden this from me for over a year? I stopped on one dated last month. October 2024, entry 47. October 15th, 2024. We're almost there. Just $8,000 left on the medical debt. I can see the finish line, but I'm not the same person I was 18 months ago. I look at myself in the mirror and I don't recognize the guy looking back. I've lost 20 pounds. My hair's going gray. I'm 42 years old and I feel like I'm 70. Last week, Sarah told me I should see a doctor because I've been having headaches. I told her it was just stress. The truth? I can't afford to see a doctor. I can't afford to find out what's wrong with me. Because if something's wrong, if I need treatment or medication or time off, then who's going to pay off this debt? Who's going to keep this family afloat? So I take Advil. I push through. I tell myself, it's almost over. Just a few more months. I can last a few more months. My chest felt like it was caving in. He'd lost 20 pounds. I'd noticed. Of course I'd noticed. But he'd said he was trying to eat healthier, that he'd been skipping the vending machine snacks at work. I'd even congratulated him, told him he looked good. And the whole time, he'd been wasting away from exhaustion and stress, the headaches, the gray hair, the way he sometimes zoned out during conversations, like he wasn't fully present. I thought he was just getting older, just tired from work. But he'd been breaking, slowly, quietly, and I'd been completely blind to it. I flipped forward, desperate now. I needed to know where this ended. I needed to know if he was okay. The entries blurred together. More late nights, more exhaustion, more lies to cover the truth. And then I reached the most recent entry, dated 3 days ago, November 16th, 2024. Entry 103, November 16th, 2024. We did it. The last payment cleared today. $47,000. Paid in full. 18 months of hell, but we did it. I should feel relieved. I should feel proud. But all I feel is empty. I quit the warehouse job yesterday. Told them I was moving on. My boss there, Frank, shook my hand and said I was the hardest worker he'd ever seen. If only he knew why. Now I'm back to one job, normal hours. I should be able to sleep again, but I can't. I lie awake at night and I can't shut my brain off. I keep thinking about everything I missed. Emma's school play last spring. I was too exhausted to stay awake during it. Sarah's birthday dinner in June. I fell asleep at the table before dessert. All those little moments I can't get back. And the worst part? Sarah still doesn't know. She thinks I've just been working hard at the office. She thinks I'm the same man I was 2 years ago. But I'm not. I'm hollowed out. And I don't know how to tell her. I don't know how to explain that I broke myself trying to protect her from feeling guilty about something that wasn't her fault. So I guess I'll just keep going. Keep pretending, because that's what I do. I keep going. The journal fell from my hands onto the bed. He'd done it. He'd paid off the debt. Alone, in secret, working himself into the ground for 18 months straight. And he hadn't told me, not because he didn't trust me, but because he was trying to protect me. And now he was broken, hollowed out. His words. I sat there on our bed, surrounded by the morning light, with my husband's secret pain laid out in ink and paper. And I realized that the man I'd been planning to surprise today, the man I'd been married to for 15 years, was a stranger to me. Not because he'd changed, but because I'd never truly seen him. I'd never seen how much he carried, how much he sacrificed, how much he suffered in silence, because he thought that's what he was supposed to do. The surprise I'd planned, the stupid banner and the cake and the card that said, "World's Best Husband," suddenly felt pathetic, insulting even. Because how do you honor a man who's been secretly saving your family while destroying himself? How do you say thank you to someone who's been screaming silently for help while you slept peacefully, oblivious? You can't. Not with a cake. Not with a card. I picked up the journal again. My hands had stopped shaking. Something had shifted inside me. The shock was fading, replaced by something else, something fierce and determined. Marcus was at work right now. His normal job, the one I knew about. He'd be home around 6. That gave me 8 hours. 8 hours to figure out how to save the man who'd spent 18 months saving me. I stood up, journal still in my hand. My original plan was dead, but I had a new one forming. And it started with one simple truth. My husband needed help. Real help. And tonight, on International Men's Day, he was going to get it, whether he was ready or not. I looked at the clock. 10:47 a.m., time to get to work. I didn't put the journal down. I couldn't. For the next 2 hours, I sat at our kitchen table with a cup of coffee that went cold, reading every single entry Marcus had written. 103 entries spanning 18 months of hell. 18 months of my husband carrying a weight I didn't even know existed. And with each entry, I felt the guilt settling deeper into my bones. Entry 23, June 3rd, 2023. Emma asked me today why I'm never home for dinner anymore. She said it with those big eyes of hers, and I wanted to tell her the truth, that I'm working a second job to pay for the surgery that saved her life. But she's only 9. She doesn't need that burden. So I told her Daddy's just been really busy at work, and I promised I'd make it to her piano recital next week. I won't. The recital's on Thursday night, and I have a shift at the warehouse. But I'll figure something out. I always do. I remembered that conversation. Emma had come to me afterward, asking why Daddy didn't want to have dinner with us anymore. I told her the same thing Marcus had, that Daddy was just busy with work. I'd even been slightly annoyed with him, thinking he was prioritizing his career over family time. God, I'd been so blind. I kept reading, my coffee forgotten, my original plans for the day completely abandoned. Entry 31, July 18th, 2023. I fell asleep driving home this morning, just for a second, maybe 2. I woke up when I drifted onto the rumble strips. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might have a heart attack right there on Highway 9. I pulled over and just sat there, shaking. I could have killed someone. I could have killed myself. And then what? Sarah would be left with the debt and without me. Emma would grow up without a father, all because I was too proud or too stupid to ask for help. But who would I even ask? Sarah's parents are gone. Mine are barely scraping by on Social Security. Our friends are all in the same boat we are. Maxed out credit cards, tight budgets. There's no help coming. It's just me. So I splashed water on my face, turned the radio up loud, and drove the rest of the way home. And when I walked in the door, Sarah was making pancakes. She smiled at me like I was her hero. If only she knew. My hand went to my mouth. He'd almost died. He'd almost crashed the car from exhaustion, and I'd been in our kitchen making pancakes, completely oblivious. What kind of wife was I? Entry 44, September 29th, 2024. I missed the promotion. Stevens got it instead. My manager, Tom, pulled me aside afterward and told me I was his first choice. But HR had concerns about my recent performance issues. The falling asleep at my desk, the missed meetings because I overslept after warehouse shifts, the lack of engagement in team projects. He said I seemed checked out. He asked me again if everything was okay. I told him everything was fine. Another lie. The truth is, everything is not fine. I'm barely holding it together. But that promotion would have meant an extra $15,000 a year. It would have meant I could quit the warehouse job sooner. Now I'm stuck. And Stevens who leaves at 5 p.m. every day to coach his kids' soccer team. Stevens who takes 3-week vacations. Stevens who's never sacrificed a damn thing. He gets the promotion. And I get to keep walking warehouse floors at 3 a.m. Life is real fair sometimes. I felt something crack inside my chest. He'd lost a promotion he deserved, a promotion that would have changed everything. And it was because of the second job I didn't know about. Because he was working himself to death to protect me from guilt I should have been sharing with him. This wasn't protection. This was martyrdom. And I'd let it happen because I was too comfortable, too trusting, too asleep. I thought about that time last fall. Marcus had seemed off for a few weeks, quieter than usual. I'd asked him what was wrong, and he'd said it was just work stress. I'd suggested he take a vacation day, maybe go fishing like he used to. He'd smiled and said maybe soon. There was no maybe soon. There was just more night shifts and more lies and more slow destruction of the man I loved. I flipped forward, scanning faster now. The entries got shorter, more scattered. The handwriting sometimes shaky, like he was writing with trembling hands. Entry 67, December 4th, 2023. Christmas is coming. Emma wants one of those expensive art sets she saw at the store. Sarah's been dropping hints about needing a new winter coat. Hers has a broken zipper. I've been trying to save up, but every extra dollar goes to the medical debt. I ran the numbers last night. If I skip Christmas gifts this year, I can make an extra payment. But how do I explain that to Emma? How do I watch my daughter's face fall on Christmas morning? So I'll figure it out. I'll pick up an extra shift. I'll make it work. I always make it work. I remembered that Christmas. Emma had gotten her art set. I'd gotten a beautiful new coat. And Marcus? Marcus had told us he didn't want anything, that just being with us was enough. I'd thought it was sweet, sentimental. He'd been broke, tapped out, choosing us over himself, again. The next entry was dated Christmas Day, entry 68, December 25th, 2023. Emma loved the art set. She hugged me so tight I thought my ribs might crack. Sarah cried when she opened the coat. She said I was too good to her. I'm not good. I'm just doing what needs to be done. But watching them happy today made the extra shifts worth it, made the exhaustion worth it. This is why I do it, this moment right here. I just wish I didn't feel so empty while watching them smile. The tears came then. Really came. Not just a few silent drops, but full body-shaking sobs. I sat at our kitchen table and cried for the man who'd given everything and felt empty doing it. For the man who'd watched his family be happy while he slowly disappeared. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. Marcus, hey babe, don't forget we're low on milk. Mind grabbing some? Love you. So casual, so normal, like he hadn't spent the last year and a half in secret hell, like he wasn't hollowed out and broken and barely holding on. I stared at that text for a long time. Then I typed back, me. I'll get it. Love you too. But inside, I was screaming. I looked at the clock. 1:15 p.m. Marcus wouldn't be home until 6. I had less than 5 hours now. 5 hours to do what I should have been doing all along. I grabbed my laptop and opened a new browser tab. Then I started making calls. First call, Dr. Patricia Morrison, the therapist my sister had recommended years ago when I'd been dealing with postpartum depression after Emma. I'd never called her, but I had her number saved. Dr. Morrison's office, this is Janet. Hi, yes, I need to schedule an appointment. It's urgent. For my husband. Today, if possible. Today? Ma'am, Dr. Morrison is fully booked until... Please. My voice cracked. Please. My husband has been suffering in silence for 18 months. He's breaking. I need help. I need someone who can help him. There was a pause. Then, hold on. Let me talk to the doctor. 3 minutes later, I had an appointment scheduled for Monday morning. Not today, but close enough. Dr. Morrison had apparently heard the desperation in Janet's voice and cleared a spot. Second call, Marcus's boss, Tom. I had his number from the company directory Marcus kept on the fridge. Tom, hi, this is Sarah Mitchell, Marcus's wife. Sarah, hey, is everything okay? Is Marcus... Marcus is fine. Well, no, he's not fine. But he will be. Listen, I know this is going to sound strange, but I need to tell you something about why Marcus has been struggling at work. And I told him, not everything, but enough. The medical debt, the second job, the 18 months of secret hell, the missed promotion that broke my heart. Tom was quiet for a long moment. Then, Jesus, I had no idea. Sarah, if I'd known... You couldn't have known. He didn't tell anyone. But I'm telling you now because my husband is one of the best men I've ever known, and he deserves better than what he's been getting. From me, from work, from life. What can I do? I don't know yet, but I'm going to figure it out. I just needed you to know the truth. So maybe, I don't know, maybe just watch out for him? He won't ask for help, but he needs it. Consider it done. And Sarah, that promotion, it's not finalized yet. HR is still doing paperwork. I might be able to... Don't do it because you feel sorry for him. Do it because he earned it. He did earn it. That's why I wanted to give it to him in the first place. Let me see what I can do. We hung up. My hands were shaking again, but this time from adrenaline, not shock. Third call. My best friend, Rachel. She answered on the first ring. Hey girl, what's up? Rachel, I need your help. Can you come over? Now? What's wrong? Are you okay? I found something about Marcus. I can't explain over the phone. Please just come. I'm on my way. She arrived 20 minutes later. I showed her the journal, watched her face go through the same journey mine had. Shock, horror, heartbreak, rage. That son of a bitch, she whispered when she finished reading. That beautiful, stupid, self-sacrificing son of a bitch. I need to do something. Tonight. Something that actually matters. Not a cake, not a card, something real. Rachel looked at me, then at the journal, then back at me. Okay, what did you have in mind? And that's when I told her my plan. The real plan. The one that had been forming in my head since I finished reading Entry 103. By 4 p.m., everything was ready. By 5 p.m., I was standing in our living room looking at what Rachel and I had created. By 5:45 p.m., I heard Marcus's car in the driveway. I took a deep breath, picked up the journal, and waited for the door to open. This was it. The moment everything changed. Because tonight, my husband was going to stop carrying this alone. Tonight, the man who'd spent 18 months protecting me was going to let me protect him, whether he liked it or not. The front door opened. Sarah, I'm home. Did you get the milk? I stepped into the hallway. Marcus was standing there, loosening his tie, looking tired but managing a smile when he saw me. Hey, babe. How was your... He stopped. His eyes dropped to what I was holding in my hands. The journal. His smile disappeared. His face went white. How did you... Sit down, Marcus. Sarah, I can explain. Sit down. He sat. On the couch in our living room, his hands shaking, his eyes wide with something that looked like fear, or maybe shame, or maybe both. I sat across from him, put the journal on the coffee table between us, and then I said the words I'd been rehearsing all afternoon. I found this today, under our bed, and I read it, every single entry, all 103 of them. Marcus stared at the journal like it was a live grenade. Sarah, His voice cracked. He cleared his throat, tried again. I was going to tell you, I didn't know how. 18 months, Marcus. My voice was steady, but my hands weren't. I gripped my knees to keep them still. 18 months of a second job, of lying about where you were, of destroying yourself to pay off a debt I didn't even know we had. I couldn't tell you. He stood up, started pacing. Classic Marcus. When emotions got too big, he moved. Emma's surgery wasn't your fault. The bills weren't your fault. But you would have blamed yourself anyway. You would have carried that guilt, and I wouldn't do that to you. So you carried it alone instead? Yes. He spun around, and for the first time in 15 years, I saw my husband's composure crack completely. Yes, I carried it alone, because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm the husband. I'm the father. I'm supposed to protect this family, to provide for this family, to make sure everything's okay even when it's not okay. His voice broke on the last word. He pressed his palms against his eyes, shoulders heaving. I stood up slowly. Marcus, look at me. He didn't move. Look at me. He dropped his hands. His eyes were red, wet. I'd seen Marcus cry exactly 3 times in 15 years, when Emma was born, when his dad died, and when Emma went into emergency surgery. This was the 4th. You almost died, I said quietly. You fell asleep driving. You wrote about it. Entry 31. His face went pale. You read that one? I read all of them. Every single word. And do you know what I learned? I took a step closer. I learned that my husband is one of the strongest, most selfless, most incredible men I've ever known. And I learned that I've been a terrible wife. Sarah, no, let me finish. My voice was firm. I've been a terrible wife because I was so comfortable in your strength that I forgot to check if you were okay. I let you carry everything because you never complained. I let you suffer because you hid it so well, and I'm so sorry. A tear rolled down his cheek. Then another. It's not your fault. None of this is your fault. And it's not yours either, but we've both been acting like it is. I picked up the journal, held it between us. This ends today, right now. You don't carry this alone anymore, not the debt, because apparently that's paid off, which we're going to talk about, and not the weight of trying to protect me from reality. We're a team, Marcus. We're supposed to be partners, and I've been a silent partner for too long. He sank back down onto the couch, his head in his hands. I'm so tired, Sarah. I'm so goddamn tired. I know. I sat beside him, close enough that our knees touched. I know you are. And that's why I made some calls today. His head snapped up. What? What calls? First, I called Dr. Patricia Morrison, the therapist. You have an appointment Monday morning at 9. Sarah, I don't need... Yes, you do. Entry 103. You said you can't sleep. You said you're hollowed out. You said you broke yourself. Those aren't things that just go away because the debt's paid, Marcus. You need help, real professional help, and you're gonna get it. He opened his mouth to argue, then closed it. Something in my tone must have told him I wasn't negotiating. Second, I continued, I called your boss, Tom. You what? He stood up again, panic in his eyes. Sarah, you can't just... My job if he thinks I'm unreliable. Sit down. I pulled him back to the couch. I told him the truth about the medical debt, about the second job, about why you've been struggling. And you know what he said? Marcus looked like he might be sick. He said that the promotion, the one you lost to Stevens, it's not finalized yet. He's going to HR on Monday to push it through. For you, dead silence. Marcus just stared at me. He said you earned it, that you've always earned it, and that if he'd known what you were dealing with, he would have handled things differently. He wants to help, Marcus. People want to help, but they can't help if you won't let them see you struggling. A sound escaped his throat, half laugh, half sob. The promotion. $15,000 more a year, which you won't need for medical debt anymore, but which you can use for literally anything else, like maybe a vacation or therapy or art lessons for Emma or a new winter coat for me that you don't have to sacrifice Christmas for. He looked at me sharply. You read that entry too. I read them all, remember? I reached over and took his hand. It was shaking. Marcus, you gave us the world. You gave us Christmas and art sets and happiness and security, and you did it while falling apart inside. And I will never, ever forgive myself for not seeing it. But I see it now, and I'm not going to let you do this alone anymore. I don't know how to not do it alone. His voice was small, broken. I don't know how to ask for help. I don't know how to be weak. Asking for help isn't weakness. It's trust. And you can trust me, Marcus. You can trust me to carry some of this weight. You can trust me to be your partner, not just someone you protect. He was crying now. Really crying. Silent tears streaming down his face. I pulled him into my arms, and he collapsed against me, his whole body shaking with 18 months of bottled up exhaustion and fear and pain. I'm sorry. he whispered against my shoulder. I'm so sorry I lied to you. I'm sorry I didn't see you breaking. I held him tighter. But we're going to fix this. Together. Starting right now. We sat like that for a long time. Me holding my husband while he finally let himself break. While he finally let someone else be strong for once. When he pulled back, his eyes were swollen, his face blotchy. He looked exhausted, but also lighter somehow. Like putting down a weight he'd been carrying for so long he'd forgotten what it felt like to stand up straight. There's something else, I said quietly. Something I want to show you. Sarah, I don't think I can handle any more surprises today. This one's different. Come on. I stood up, held out my hand. He took it. Let me lead him through the house toward our bedroom. When I opened the door, he stopped in the doorway. Our bed, the same bed where I'd found his journal this morning, was covered in envelopes. Dozens of them, all different colors, all addressed to Marcus. What is this? Remember how I said I made some calls today? Rachel came over, and we made some more calls. To Emma's school, to your parents, to our friends, to people who love you. I picked up one of the envelopes. I told them today is International Men's Day. I told them about a man who's been suffering in silence, who's been sacrificing everything for his family, who needs to know that people see him, that people appreciate him, that he matters. I handed him the first envelope. This one's from Emma's teacher, Mrs. Rodriguez. His hands were shaking as he opened it. Inside was a handwritten note on purple construction paper, clearly written by Emma herself in her careful, 9-year-old handwriting. Dear Daddy, Mrs. Rodriguez told me today is a special day for daddies. She said I should write you a letter about why you're the best. So here it is. You're the best because you always hug me goodnight even when you're tired. You're the best because you helped me with my science project even though volcanoes are messy. You're the best because you tell me I can be anything I want when I grow up. You're the best because you're my daddy. I love you to the moon and back into the moon again. Love, Emma P.S. Can we get ice cream this weekend? Marcus let out a sound that was half laugh, half sob. She made a volcano? Last month. You helped her with it, remember? You were so tired you could barely stand, but you stayed up until midnight helping her paint Mount Vesuvius. He stared at the letter, tears dropping onto the purple paper. There's more. I handed him another envelope. This one's from your mom. He opened it with trembling fingers. Marcus, Sarah called me today and told me some things I wish you had told me yourself, but I understand why you didn't. You've always been the strong one, the one who handles things. Even as a little boy, you never wanted anyone to see you struggle. But son, strength isn't about carrying everything alone. It's about knowing when to ask for help. Your father, God rest him, he learned that lesson too late. Don't be like him. Don't let pride destroy you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the man you've become, the father you are, the husband you are. But I'm also worried about you. So please let people help. Let Sarah help. Let me help. We're family. That's what family does. I love you. Happy International Men's Day. Mom, she knows, Marcus whispered. My mom knows. She deserved to know. They all deserve to know. I picked up another envelope, and another, and another. There were letters from our neighbors, from Marcus's co-workers. Tom had apparently sent an email around after our call, from the guys in his fantasy football league, from Rachel, who wrote about watching Marcus be a devoted father and husband for years, and there was one from me. This one last, I said, handing him a cream-colored envelope. Read this one last. He saved it. Went through every other letter first. Read words from people thanking him, appreciating him, seeing him. By the time he got to mine, he was sitting on the edge of our bed, surrounded by envelopes, tears streaming freely down his face. He opened mine. Marcus, I found your journal today, and I read about a man I thought I knew, but apparently never truly understood. I read about sacrifices I never saw, about pain I never noticed, about love so deep and selfless that you were willing to destroy yourself to protect me from guilt. And here's what I need you to know. You didn't fail me by keeping secrets. You didn't fail me by struggling. You didn't fail me by being human. But I failed you. I failed you by being so comfortable in your strength that I forgot to check if you were okay. I failed you by not creating a space where you felt safe to be weak. I failed you by letting you carry the world alone. So here's my promise to you. Starting today, I see you. Not just the strong husband, the steady father, the reliable provider. I see the human underneath. The man who's scared sometimes, who's tired sometimes, who needs help sometimes. And I'm here. Not just to be protected, but to be your partner. Your equal. Your safe place to fall apart when you need to. You saved this family, Marcus. You saved Emma's life and you saved us from drowning in debt. And you did it at the cost of yourself. Now let me save you. Happy International Men's Day to the man who redefined what strength means. I love you. Not for what you do, but for who you are. Forever yours, Sarah P.S. The promotion is just the beginning. Monday, therapy starts. And we're going on a vacation. A real one. 2 weeks. Just you and me. Emma's staying with my sister. You're going to sleep for 3 days straight, and then we're going to remember what it's like to just be. No jobs, no responsibilities, just us. This is for you. When he finished reading, he didn't say anything. He just sat there holding the letter, his shoulders shaking. Then he looked up at me. You did all this today? In about 6 hours, yeah? Why? Because you're my husband, because I love you, because you deserve to know that your sacrifices didn't go unnoticed, that your pain matters, that you matter. I sat beside him. And because it's International Men's Day, and maybe the world doesn't always stop to appreciate men like you, men who give everything and ask for nothing, but I'm stopping, right now, to tell you that I see you. He pulled me into his arms, held me so tight I could feel his heart hammering against my chest. Thank you. He whispered into my hair, thank you for seeing me. Thank you for letting me. I pulled back just enough to look at his face. No more secrets, no more carrying everything alone. We're partners, okay? Okay. He nodded. Okay. And Marcus? Yeah? You're taking a nap right now for the next 3 hours. I'm ordering pizza for dinner. Emma will understand. And tomorrow we're sleeping in. And Monday therapy starts. And that promotion? You're taking it. And you're going to use some of that extra money to do something just for you. Not for us. Not for Emma. For you. Deal? He laughed. An actual, real laugh. Deal. Good. I stood up, started gathering the envelopes. Now lie down before you fall down. He did. Stretched out on our bed, surrounded by letters from people who loved him. Within 2 minutes, he was asleep. The kind of deep, dreamless sleep of someone who's finally allowed to rest. I stood in the doorway watching him breathe, watching the tension slowly melt from his face, watching the man I loved finally let himself be human. And I made myself a promise right there. Never again would I let him suffer in silence. Never again would I be so comfortable that I stopped checking on the strongest person in my life. Because strength isn't about never breaking. It's about having someone there to catch you when you do. And from now on, I was going to be that someone for Marcus. So that's my story. The story of how I found my husband's secret journal on International Men's Day. How I discovered that the man I thought I knew had been breaking in silence for 18 months. How I finally learned what it really means to be a partner. Marcus is doing better now. It's been 3 weeks since that day. He started therapy. He got the promotion. We went on that vacation, just the two of us, and for the first time in years, I watched him actually relax, actually smile without exhaustion behind his eyes. He's still healing. We both are. Because that's what healing is. It's not instant. It's not a switch you flip. It's work. Hard. Daily work. But we're doing it together now, and that makes all the difference. I'm telling you this story today because I think there are a lot of men out there like Marcus, men who carry everything, men who sacrifice in silence, men who think asking for help means admitting weakness, men who are breaking quietly while the world just assumes they're fine because they've always been fine. And I think there are a lot of partners out there like me, People who've gotten so comfortable in someone else's strength that they've forgotten to check if that person is okay. People who love deeply but have stopped looking deeply. So here's my question to you. Do you really see the men in your life? Not what they do for you, not how they provide or protect or sacrifice, but who they are underneath all that. Do you see when they're tired, when they're scared, when they're breaking? And to the men watching this, do you let people see you? Really see you? Or are you so busy being strong that you've forgotten it's okay to be human? International Men's Day isn't just about appreciation. It's about recognition. It's about saying, I see you. Your struggles matter. Your pain is valid. You don't have to carry everything alone. So today, check on the strong men in your life. Ask them how they're really doing. And don't accept "I'm fine" as an answer. Dig deeper. Look closer, because sometimes the strongest people are the ones who need help the most, and they'll never ask for it. So you have to offer it first. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for seeing Marcus through my words. And thank you for being here. Now go check on someone you love. You might be surprised what you find. Take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. This is Sarah, and this was for Marcus. But really, it's for all of you. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. If you listened all the way to the end, drop a number 1 in the comments. I've added 2 new stories on screen that everyone loves. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next one, with love.